Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for that meditation there. I talked this morning, and I'm not going to talk about the same thing I talked this morning. But I'm going to talk about the same thing, which is abundance and aspects and all the aspects of that. And you know, one of our main, I guess you can't have one main thing, only one main thing. Now, our main concern here on this earth plane today is to know thyself. And there's a couple rules that is important to understand and know. And that is cause and effect. And that change is constant. And cause and effect is constant. And so how do I get to know myself? Your body tells you exactly who you are. And each part of your body has a representation of that aspect that you are. And so this morning I left off at shoulders, so I'm going to take off at shoulders this afternoon. And then shoulders are responsibilities. You know, and so how do I know if it's my responsibilities or that person's responsibilities? Well, there's an all-knowing within you that lets you know that. And if your shoulders are consistently being of effect upon you, there's a cause with that. You know, you either are not doing your responsibilities or you're doing other people's responsibilities. And there's a fine line between yours and theirs. And you'll have it all knowing within you that lets you know what that is. And there's a feeling that goes along with it, and it calls intuition. And usually intuition doesn't make any sense, but it's always accurate with your intuition. So, you know, in my healing meditations, I say that each one of us are doing our responsibilities with ease, and we also with freedom, and we also allow other people to do their responsibilities with the same freedom and ease. And then, you know, that really lets go of a lot of conditions in our life. When we think that we're more responsible, we have to do a better job than they do, you know, that's taking their responsibilities away, and also it gives them this advantage of not being able to think that they can do it. When people start doing their own responsibilities, they feel better about themselves. And the thing is that when you're doing your own responsibilities, it's important not to compare yourself with other people, how they do their responsibilities or other people's responsibility. And in developing of the mediumship, you know, there's one phase in there that they compare themselves to other mediums and what they're doing in their psychic ability, which is not a very pleasant sight to be in, because that's not you. You have your own identity, and you use that when you're developing your abilities. And so we go to the shoulders, then we want to go down the arms. You know, the arms are male and female, giving and receiving. And the left is receiving and female, and the right is giving and receiving. Giving and male and everything. And so, how do you receive? How do you give? How do you give is when you go someplace, you're giving of yourself. And if you've got things that are going on the right arm and everything, especially the right hands and everything, be aware of where you're going. Because, you know, there's a principle here is that what you are is what you associate with. The people who are in your life, that is what you are. That's not a very pleasant place to be sometimes. And I found myself at that place quite a few times before I came here and everything. You know, that's one of the things I liked about the chapel when I got here. There was a bunch of people that were happy. I couldn't figure that out at all. Because they're the most boring people I ever met. But I found out who was boring. The one I was looking in the mirror. I was becoming boring and everything like this. So I stick around and see how to make this change and everything like this. And so when you go someplace, you know, you're giving yourself, but also you are receiving what's going on in that place too. You know, and one of the things that we had a nice talk last week on giving and receiving in the morning and everything. And you know, there's a principle involved here. What you plant, and you see, there's always more to the manifestation. That's why I like corn. You know, when I put 3 kernels of corn in the ground, I'm going to get the final manifestation of 3 or 4 ears out of one stalk with hundreds of kernels of corn. And we're subject to that same law and everything. So everything you think is a seed, so you're going to get that amount back with you from that seed. And so it's nice to understand what your thoughts are, isn't it? And then when you get this tremendous effect coming up on there, now why is that happening? You don't have to ask that question anymore, because every effect that you have, you are the cause. And what a step that is. I'm being silent because I want you to think about that. If you're the cause of the affection in your life, then it's time to establish more understanding and knowing of the seeds that you plant each day. And those are the words and the thoughts and the actions that you have. Know what you did that day so you know what your garden is. And then you'll know what's going to harvest in your life. And so when we go down to the hands, then I put things over into the solar plexus area, the lower abdomen area. Life lives here. You are full of life. Life is full of you. Life is happiness, health, and wealth. Anybody ask you what you want in life, tell them happiness, health, and wealth. Don't hesitate. Say it. And then what is happiness, health, and health? People, places, and things. The people, places, and things, if they're happy, healthy, and wealthy, then you are happy, healthy, and wealthy. And don't get into say, well, for me to have this happiness and health, I have to have this wealth. That wealth is sustaining your happiness and health. And to develop physically and spiritually, you need time to be able to do that. And if you're not happy and you're having lack in your life, you don't have that quality time. And it's important to have quality time in the silence so that you can get to know who you are. It's not pleasant to know that you're responsible for all the turmoil and all the shaky things that go on in your life. We don't want to accept that. And what a bunch of us are at the river in Egypt, denial. And I have tickets in my pocket. I issue them out every so often to people who are in that river. Sometimes they take them and sometimes they don't. But you have that ticket too, you know. And so, and then we have another part of our body that is probably very, very valuable, and that's the stomach area. That's the wisdom part of your being. I am wise in all that I think, say, and do. I am wise in all that I think, say, and do. What an aspect that is. Being wise. You know what? Sometimes people don't agree with your wisdom. How do you know that you're wise? Because people don't agree with you? Does that make you say, well, I'm not wise because people don't agree with me? If I'd done that, I'd still be sitting where you are. I wouldn't be developing anything. I know that the energy that I was coming in contact with here and ignited from the spirit world was something that was much more powerful and wonderful than more than I have ever experienced before. And the information that they ignited within me was way beyond my expectations as I came here in 1970. And that is in each and every one of you. There are tremendous strides to be made in your development. Confidence and security is to be ignited within you. And know that wisdom is the one that does that. And then we go to the heart area. That's the love area of our being. And it's always nice to put wisdom into the love area. Because love is a word and an energy that is tremendous. And there's a lot of people in this world that have their love experience is very negative. They haven't had any positive and constructive experiences in love. And what is our first experiences of love is in the mother's womb. And then being born. The people that we meet when we're born, that's what the examples that we're going to have. And I'm not going to tell you who was in your life when you come in there and everything like this. You know who they are. And you know what they are. And all I ask you to do is that when you're sending love, send healing and wisdom with it. Don't just send love out, because that's an energy that builds. And if a person is having a very difficult time, you're going to have more difficult times because you're sending that energy to them. So it's important to know what you're thinking and what you're sending. How many of you ever thought of not praying for people? That's a good thing to do, isn't it? Pray for people. Well, not in all cases. You have to be constructive and direct with the prayers that you send to people. One of the prayers that I send that they see clearly and act accordingly. Then it takes me all the responsibility of what I think they should do. Then I don't have to do that, because then they will think of what they are to do and act accordingly to that. Now I want to leave this talk with your face. That's the image part of your being. When you have things going on in your face, there's imaging that's going on. And when you feel real clear and the face is real clear, then you are clear. If there's things that are disturbing in your face, then your image, you have caused an image of discord or something like this. But know that you have the ability to heal. There's not too many things I refer to the Bible as. One of them is that there's a physician, heal thyself. We all have a physician within us. And we can use that every day of our life. And the polarity of this world is negative and positive. That's not good and bad. It is. It's negative and positive polarity. And as long as there's negative and positive polarity, then if there's all positive polarity in your life, guess what? You wouldn't be able to stay here. You would just move through this compensation. So, what I want to leave you today, I am that I am. And that which you are is. And I know my English teacher is going in their grave. Bless you.